Hello there. If you're watching this video, I assume you know why we're here. We're modeling a timber frame for this little house model. In the last video, we've put down a sill plate, and this is the base which is fixed to the concrete on the floor, so that from this we can build timber frames on top of this. As we work through these videos, you'll probably notice that I'm doing it the long way, the hard way. And you might be thinking, what a silly way to do timber framing. And the reason I do it this way is because I'm trying to show complete control over the timber frame components. So everything I put down, I'm trying to show you exactly how it's controlled. There's plugins out there that will put your timber frames in automatically. You click a button, maybe you set some settings, and all the timber frame is set up, and all you have to do is tweak little bits here and there. But what I'm trying to do is show you how to use Revit to make a timber frame from scratch yourself without a plugin. Later on, when you're working in a job or something, you'll be using plugins and life will be easier for you. And you'll be able to control each component perfectly. Well, I say perfectly, but sometimes Revit messes around, and if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know that well. Okay, so enough of the introduction, let's get on with it. Now I've put a sill plate down. We're gonna build our frames on top of this. So that means we're gonna be copying studs all over the place. Right, you'll notice that I've made this a red color. This is just to make it stand out from the rest of the frames. I want to key color everything that I put down. So I want to now put a bottom track for these studs, or a bottom rail as it's called in books. And then on top of that I'll put studs, and then on top of the studs I'll put a top rail. So to quickly put the bottom rail, I'm just going to highlight this, select all of them visible in view, copying to clipboard, and paste aligned to selected levels, ground FFL. Okay, now that's a little bit higher than I would like it to be, and I'm just going to temporarily hide these to get them out of my way. I'm just going to the sill plate plan, and I'm going to drop in a section to get a better view of things. So this is the sill plate that I laid originally, and this is the one I copied up. I want this to be sitting directly on top of this. It's 325 high, so I know now to remember this number 325, to go to 3D, select all of these, I can't select all this time because it'll select the red ones too. And select, and I'm going to drop these by 325. Z offset value, that's 50 minus 325. I don't want to do quick math. 50 minus 325 minus 275 minus 275, and now it's sitting directly on top. There's a couple of things we can do. We can model the whole frame panel on a single wall, or we can break them up into sections of frame wall, which is what I want to do, because when you go into a workplace, you're likely going to be working with machines that break them up into pieces so that they can be transported to site and built easily. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut all this up. Now to get to the exciting part, ground floor. So I'm copying this up and moving it over. To copy, you hold You highlight a component, hold control on the keyboard, and then just drag it out. Let's see. I'm gonna rotate this, hopefully it works. It does. I have a plan here, which I've sketched out, showing how I'm going to put the studs in. And so, this is my plan of the studs. Copying another one up, and I'm placing this one right here. Unconstrain it so I can move it as I please. Tab on the keyboard to make sure I get it right in the corner. Keep pressing tab until I get my selection, and if I'm not getting my selection, then I'll copy it to one line like this. Move it up to one line and align it to this one. And if that's not working too, then just do it like this. And if that's proving to be difficult as well, now there's a problem with dragging over, as you can see. It's not accurate, see. I don't like it. Yeah, it's not accurately placed. DL on the keyboard. So I'm placing it like this now. That's about as close as we can get. So that's what I'll do now. Align it to this like this. And I'm copying another one over, because that's what my plan says. 3. Maybe I could copy 3 over actually. Heck, why not? It's an engineer's job to check how much of these studs are supposed to be and how big they're supposed to be. I can put a bit of overkill on it, and if this were to go to an engineer, he could do the calculations and tone it down. Right, putting that there. Now let's see how that looks in 3D. So that's how it's gonna look. We've put our first stud for this frame panel here. Let me get these walls out of the way. VG on the keyboard, W, walls. Okay, let's get them out of the way. So this timber rail stops here, and I want the bottom of this to go up by 50, so it's sitting on top of this rail. Base offset 100. So that's how it's sitting. Now I'm going to go into ground again, and I'm putting this here, going into the section, and VG, get the walls out of the way. Okay, I'm copying this over, don't care how far it is, and I'm about to care how far it is now. So in my plan, these are 1.8 meters wide. 1,800. And I'm gonna lock these down with a pin. Okay. So I'm gonna copy 2 more now. And copy another one there, and then I'm going to dimension these to the middle of these studs, to the end of that one, and click on the dimension, and the EQ is somewhere there. That's automatically placed them in the middle. The studs are 600 centers. That means 600 millimeters apart. And I know that for steel studs it's 600, and for timber I've read that it's 400, but I've also read 600 as well. So I've worked with steel, but I'm using my knowledge on steel and then researching timber to see how it works. I'm going to copy this up I'm going to copy to clipboard and paste a line to selected levels, roof, and then I'm just going to take it a bit higher by 325. What happens if I do it at 0? 50. 50. Okay. And I'm going to bring this back to the end it's supposed to go. I don't like when it does this. So I'm going to right click this, the blue dot that is, disallow join, bring this back a bit, and then try this again. Okay, still want to play games, I'm going to use the align tool then. And this bottom rail, I'm going to cut it anywhere, doesn't matter. Pull this back, and I'm going to right click this as well and disallow join. You can also click, there's a symbol somewhere to disallow join. If I see it, I'll let you know. Disallow join, and use the align to get it perfect. There we have our first timber frame. I'm just gonna bring the wall back in because I want these frames to be as high as the wall that we've put already. VG, W, bring walls back. I think that's okay. Yeah. If needed, we can edit it later. It's not a problem. So VG, W, get the walls out of here. I just want to add a couple things. So Noggins. I'm going to copy this one up. Can I copy it up? No. Alright. I'm just going to copy it to the side and make its Z offset at 0. Just to get it to show up here. Okay, and I'm creating a noggin now. I want this noggin to be 900 high, 1000 high. That's okay. Let's see, 700. So it's 1000 high. So I'm copying this over to here. Now, I should let you know that. Oh, by the way, 600 centers is actually DI. So that should be 600, and that should be 600, and that should be something. So these two are moving over by 25. Okay, that's how it should be. Okay, and I'm just gonna align these over. Now I've noticed in some timber frames that these noggins are fixed this way, but I've also noticed that some are fixed staggered, so they'll look like this. I don't think it matters. It's probably easier for whoever's fixing these noggins in to just drill in this way, drill screws in this way, and keep it held up there instead of drilling at an angle. I'm gonna delete this because I'm gonna copy these now. So if I select all of these pieces, I'm gonna unpin all of the components and group them. Your standard timber frame wall panel Okay. I'll pin this now, and I'll just make multiple copies of these across the wall. This feels good. Okay, let's look at what we have in 3D now. Looking good. I am gonna highlight all of these groups and pin them down. Right, in my plan I have the frame that's on this side extending right to the end. So I'm just going to sort that out. Bring it back a bit. And align. Oops. Want to align with the edge. And on the end of the plan I have some studs. So let me just sort out this stud according to the same height as these. So we have 100 millimeters base offset. Fine. 100 millimeters base offset. And I'm moving this stud all the way to the end. Like this. Copying 3 of them. So we have a little column on the corner. Let me align this to that stud. Is that aligned? Looks aligned. I probably shouldn't care about these really tiny, insignificant stickouts. But something inside makes me care. Now what to do with this little space here? Well, we're gonna extend this frame. So that means I'm going to copy a stud from here to here, and this now will act as one frame. Supposed to align to here. Right, now that's all framed up on one side, and this frame is a bit bigger than these. Let me pin these down. The reason I pin them down is because you progress in your project and then something moves and you don't even know. So this is not a standard frame panel. Just call it frame panel 2. Who cares what you call it? Pin. That's one side done. Now, that was the easy side. Now I'm going to do the same on this side, but I'm going to edit one of them to fit around this window. So going into ground floor, and I'm going to select the groups. Hopefully everything is getting selected. This can get messy, so you have to be careful. If you accidentally select something, hold shift, click again to deselect it. I'm gonna select these as well because I want these copied over. Copy, move it out here, and I'm gonna group this whole thing. frame 1 or 2. Right. I think this is 12 mil. Let's have a look. 12.5 mil. So I'm gonna draw this line like this. Copy it over, or rather move it over actually, by 12.5 mil. So it's exactly in line with this, and now I can copy this by 150, and I can now use this as a guideline. I'll just drag it down here. Now I should be able to snap to that, I hope. Move. Constrain. I'm keeping it constrained so it only moves left and right, or up and down, not in any other direction. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's have a look in 3D. Okay, now we're going to sort out this window fitting. So I'm going to bring the walls back just to see how things are looking with the walls in. So going to sill plate plan again. I'm going to make a copy of this, drag it over with Control and flip. Go to that view. Okay, we're gonna fit this in now. Ungroup this, and this frame only ungroup. Let me just draw a guideline to know which ones I'm ungrouping. So I'm only ungrouping whatever's between these two lines. Ungroup. Okay, so I'm going to align this stud with this window. It should probably align there actually. Let me have a look. Hide the walls again. This window should be set in back a bit more. That's okay. Same on this side. And I'm going to move this up by 150. Align it to the end. Simply we're fitting a frame around this. Looks simple enough. We need one more at the top. We're gonna put something different there. And I'm copying these over just for reinforcement of this timber. So these are going to sit under and hold this up. And I need to bring them down. Top offset is going to be minus 1525. Minus 1525. And I feel there should be one in the middle, or two in the middle. Maybe this is overkill, but that's for the engineer to decide. And on the top we need a lintel. a timber lintel. So I need to load something in. Okay, I'm going to load in a new component for the lintel here. And you might consider it overkill, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. I'm going to say it's not overkill because people mostly used steel lintels and I'm about to use a timber one. So timber framing, structural framing, wood. And that's the one I want to put in there. This is the one I was saving for this job. Okay. I'm copying this up. I'm copying it to the side because it won't let me copy it up. Add a bit to it. 1,500. 2,000. And I'm gonna turn this into dimensional lumber. Okay, so here's my timber lintel. And I'm gonna double this up, but first I'm just gonna position it correctly. So 135 more. Let's have a look in 3D. I need one in front, maybe one in the back as well. I'll copy one of these sections so I don't have to do all the settings again. 90. Go to view. I'll triple it up. Yes, it's overkill. Maybe. And yes, this window's not positioned right, but what happens if we bring back the wall? Looks like it's not positioned right, but what happens if we bring back the walls? And it looks okay. We'd need a concrete lintel there. Oh, there's a metal lintel that goes like this. Yeah, there's actually a metal lintel that goes something like this. And that holds the bricks and the wood as well. We'll probably look at something like that in another video. For now, I'll just leave it like this. Okay, going back to section 2. I'm going to overkill this structure even more. So I'm copying this. Let me send it up. 2135 was it? 2185. Okay, what I'm about to do is overkill. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this stud here. 2460. 2560 now. Something doesn't look right. This is okay. It looks like I moved the line by accident. Well, who cares about the line? We can get rid of it now. I'll align this to this, and I'll align this to this. Maybe it could be like this, or maybe it could be more like this. I think that looks better. I'll pin these down so it doesn't move. And equalize. I think that looks better. Looks like overkill, as I said before. So there's our structural opening for the window. There's one support issue which I forgot to mention about the lintel, and it's very important. So this lintel actually needs to be supported by these two studs, and these studs need to be doubled up. So I'm copying one over here and another one for this side. And these studs need to drop underneath this lintel. So that's going to be -475, and this one as well, -475. And then these lintels have to be supported on top of these studs. This is the correct way to structurally support them. And I'll just equalize these again by just redimension it to here and here, and hit equalize. There it is. Of course I have to sort out the lintels at the back, but I just had to mention that. So I'll hide this and just align these with that. Okay, that's much better. That's how it should look. And the lintels are supported by the studs. Oh, don't forget to pull these back as well. Get a good look. For this side, we're going to do the exact same that we did here, just 3 times. And for this side and for this side. But for this, we're going to do something different. We're going to add something on the top called a flitch plate, or a flitch lintel. So that's a lintel that's harder than normal. And again, it's probably overkill, because this is not 2 stories, this is just 1 story. But as I keep saying, that's for the engineer to decide. We're just modeling for fun. Okay, so that's what we'll do in the next video. I'll bring the walls back so you can see what it looks like. That's gonna make a nice thumbnail.